This is the Shine On You Crazy Daisy podcast, and I'm your host, Trudy Simmons from the Daisy Chain Group, providing platforms and opportunities for businesswomen to be seen and heard. This platform is for the women entrepreneurs that want to hear the real stories of what it takes to be yourself and run a business with all the different hats that you might have to wear. Come and join the Shine On You Crazy Daisy membership, offering online networking, co-working, collaboration, and monthly masterclasses for you to grow your knowledge. Go to thedaisychaingroup.com for more information. These are the platforms to hear and share the stories of the tenacious, the rebellious, and the resilient women that are working towards the future that they build for themselves and their families. And welcome to the Shine On You Crazy Daisy podcast. And today I am thrilled and excited to introduce you to Louise Hill from Roses and Roots. Louise, thank you so much for being involved in the book and the podcast. Please tell us about your business.
I hold circles for ladies, creating connection and community.
Yeah, perfect and beautiful. Thank you so much. Right at the beginning of the chapter, you talk about how you were taught to be a good girl, stay in the background, not deserving to shine. How did this show up in your choices through life?
So basically, I put everyone else's needs before my own. Always felt my role was to be at base camp, never actually go to the summit, and sort of ensure everyone else's life ran smoothly. But I sort of gave away my power, really, I suppose. I realise now, because it was always everybody else's needs, and I'm sure that's why I got the stomach ulcer.
I just think it's such an important conversation to have because, this is Shine On You Crazy Daisy. I'm all about helping people to shine, but there is so many from past generations that didn't encourage that feeling of shining, of being out there, of being celebrated.
I think and I think it ties in totally. We're in a privileged position because we're that what I call transition generation, where, now you don't even think about having the vote, but then, you think what the suffragettes had to, and I think that's why it's very important that we break these, shackles, if you like, that women were put under to believe that you always had to come second. And I mean, I remember my mother, bless her, she was an army wife, and literally she had letters addressed to wife of. It wasn't even her name. It was sort of, and that was the trouble. Women were very much seen as second-class citizens, and let's be honest, they still are. They still are in some places. So I think it's very common that a lot of us feel like that, and then feel that you shouldn't boast. Don't talk about your achievements, because then you're being showing off. And that's, I think we've all been conditioned to that to a certain extent.
I've said this before, but my dad, who's old school, and when I say, "Oh, it's brilliant today, you wouldn't believe how much I've got done," he goes, "You can't say that. You just can't. Oh, I've just done it. Oh, what do you know?"
Well, that's what it's all about, though, isn't it? We've got to take back our power.
Yeah.
It's taken me frigging 55 years to realise that, but I've got there now. Yeah. And actually, hard luck. Stop hiding. And actually, if someone, I understand it's his conditioning, but if he can't cope with that, then actually that's not your issue. Yeah. I call it, you just smile and wave.
Smile and wave.
Fine, but you don't need to get wound up in it. You don't need to get stressed about it. You just think, no, that's your choice, that's your path, but I'm choosing something different.
I celebrate everything.
Good for you.
How has meditation impacted your life at different times?
So when I was first diagnosed with stomach ulcer, and then I went down the Ayurvedic path of healing, I did primordial sound meditation, which is a mantra. And honestly, it was very funny because I was sent to have a massage, and I later learned the guy said I was the most hyperactive client he'd ever had. He was thinking, my God, can I even get her to sit still on, can she lie still on the bed before I even massage? He used me as a benchmark. I mean, that's how bad I was. I was literally in fight or flight all the time, busy, and actually that's why I got ill. And I think a lot of women suffer from that. I mean, I'm out of it now. I'm empty nester, my kids are grown up, but I remember when my kids were little, and you're just manic, you're running around, and we are not designed biologically to live in fight or flight all the time. We just aren't. We need to allow ourselves rest and digest, relax, whatever you want to call it, sympathetic, parasympathetic nervous system. And I'm sure that's why I got ill, because your body is running on empty. It's like a car, you burn out. And I think That's why so many of us get ill. And it was a wake-up call for me at 35. 20 years later, the ulcers never come back, but I meditate every day.
So does that meditation help you to stop, or does it help you to reset, or is it all of the above? Is it just
all of the above? I mean, basically meditation, as I say, is there's no right. So again, we're brought up with this right and wrong. With meditation, is the most important thing is the intention that you stop. Now, sometimes if it all works, and like all life, you go into the gap, as I call it, and then you come out and you feel recharged. And sometimes you won't, because if you're very, very manic, actually that's a sign that your body is stressed. But just having the intention of lying there and will reset you. And it stops that constant sort of what I call to-do list, which I think we all have to a certain extent. And it takes you, as I say, out of fight or flight into rest. And actually it means you can digest your food properly. It means you'll sleep better. And if you're the occasional time it happened, but you tune into source, that's when I get my inspiration. I mean, when that happens, it's magical.
I do what I call angry meditating, which is not very helpful. Because sometimes, and people will really understand this, but when you're not good at slowing down and listening to your body, I just go through the list in my head and get angrier and angrier about the time that I'm taking out, and then that was done.
Yeah, but at least you stopped.
See?
Yeah,
I'm winning.
There's a spectrum, darling. If I was a benchmark up here, anybody can meditate. It's just a level. But yeah, it's fundamental for me. I mean, I'm in a different situation now, but I mean, literally, I've just been upstairs and meditated now before I've done this call, because I've had a very manic morning and I wanted to be in what I call a grounded space before I talk to you, because otherwise I'm all like, and you don't get that flow. Yeah, you don't get that sort of we all need it. We all need to feel grounded and rooted and not constantly in manic mode.
Yeah. So why are women's circles important at this time?
Because I think after the pandemic, the last 2 years, I felt it myself, and I think that's probably why obviously you often end up teaching or doing what you also crave. But I think I crave a sense of connection and community. I think that's so important. Well, it's actually been proven, because I did a counseling course, but it's a fundamental human need. It really is, to be seen and heard and accepted for who we are. And that sense of belonging, that community, and that's what women's circles do. There's no judgment. There's no expectation, there's no agenda. You turn up, you sit in what we call a sacred space, and as you go over the threshold, what happens is I call it, you leave all your roles at the door. And you just say, right, I'm nobody's mother, sister, friend, whatever. I am me, and I can stop doing and just be. And there's no expectation. You can share if you want to. There's meditations, but that's, I think, fundamentally, if we're all going to start being more in balance and coming out of the fight or flight, which is one of my lessons, but I think a lot of us do, women's circles are needed. They are needed. And the lady I trained with, her vision is to make coming to women's circles as common as going to a yoga class. Yeah. And I fundamentally would like to be part of that.
Yeah. It's, the way that you describe it, it's just such a beautiful environment to be yourself in. And I don't think there are many circumstances where many of us get to walk into those spaces. So I do think it's really important.
Yeah, I think that's fundamental. That's exactly it. We don't get a chance to just be. And you can have all different circles. Sometimes it's a much more spiritual, so it can be about chakras or whatever, but it can also be for a group of business ladies who are exactly like we're saying, constant. And then actually you get a chance to just drop out of that. And sometimes it's about talking about something that actually you don't feel is appropriate with friends, or actually maybe with your family. And then funny enough, I was talking to another lady this morning, and she said, oh, well, you could do it for, she runs a coffee shop, and she said, I get all these young mums coming in and they're so stressed. And she's saying, oh, you could do it for young mums. I think it's one of these that it's, I would gear the circle for whoever is coming to help them feel that it would benefit them.
What's one lesson you've learned that every entrepreneur should know?
Adaptability.
Oh, go on.
Yeah, I think fundamentally, on my 55 years on this planet, it's adaptability. It's go with the flow. It's like the pandemic. Nobody could have predicted that in a million years, could they? And I think that's also what I feel is, not me, but that little bugger virus don't care whether you're black, red, green, or orange, whether you're French, Timbuktu, or I think it's that thing of recognizing that we're all human beings and stop seeing the separateness and actually say, how can we work together? But adaptability is key, because if you stay rigid and, it's got to be this way, it just causes more stress.
Yeah.
And there is no, the only constant is change in life.
Well, I think we've seen that more over the last couple of years. The people that haven't been able to adapt or have refused to adapt have suffered the most, because it is, if we weren't able to do it, a lot of us wouldn't have had businesses now. So
Exactly.
Yeah. What's your favorite business book?
So it's called The Earth is Hiring, and it's the thing that really, which I resonated with. So I'll just read it to you. She was going to do a big event, and they kept asking what her title was. Yeah, and I hate being put in a box. And she said, I don't care for titles or long bios where I'm bang on about my achievements. So she says, a few weeks later, the organisation released their schedule of events, and she was next to Jack Canfield, who wrote, For the Soul, or what are the things?
I don't know what the name of the book is.
Oh, God. See, menopausal brain's gone, but never mind. Chicken Soup for the Soul.
Oh, yes, yeah.
He was the one who wrote that. So massive author, and he had all this, and her title was Human AF. So basically,
brilliant.
And that just appealed to me. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a really good book, and it's actually about coming from obviously business, you do have to earn money, but it's coming from what I call a soul-led business, rather than all about money. And as you can tell, I'm a bit of a rebel, so that just appeared. It was like, yes. So people say, what's your title? I'm Humanist.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's Earth is Hiring by Peter Kelly. That's amazing. Louise, thank you so much for writing your story and for being involved in the book and the podcast. And I can't wait to get your story out there.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. If you like what you saw, please like the video and click the subscribe button for this channel for more inspiration. If you're a businesswoman looking for that community that will support you and lift you up, come and join the Shine On You Crazy Daisy membership, offering online networking, co-working, collaboration, and monthly masterclasses to grow your knowledge. Go to thedaisychaingroup.com for more information. And for even more inspiration, please go to the link under the video and get your copy of the Shine On You Crazy Daisy series of books with inspirational and motivating stories from businesswomen around the world.